Tape Deck Media.
See you at the party, Richter!
Welcome to See You at the Party, Richter. I'm Aaron Frescas, and with me as always are Chris Chapman and Joseph Beck Castro. And this week we're finishing off the summary for Arnold's 2003 sci-fi sequel, Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines. All right, let's hop right back into it. So take it away, Chris.
Arnold and the gang arrive at a cemetery to find Sarah Connor's coffin, which Arnold pulls out of a mausoleum and opens to reveal a stockpile of weapons that she left behind. Claire Danes grabs a pistol and demands to be let go, but when Arnold won't let her go, she shoots him, but he spits the bullet back out. Yeah, I like this line too. He just goes, "Don't do that."
They also talk about how Sarah died.
Yeah, she had leukemia. And she was diagnosed in Baja, which I was like, oh, was that where Arnold kills John in Dark Fate? Yeah, maybe. I mean, I know that's maybe retconning everything, but still. Yeah. And my other note was like, man, she just shot him in the fucking head. Yeah, she's cold, man. Just then, the cops show up and lob some tear gas into the crypt, and Claire Danes uses this as cover to get away. Arnold prepares for escape as John gets real whiny and wants to be left behind. So Arnold pulls the absolute most basic reverse psychology on his ass to put some fight back in him. And I guess also some light strangulation.
I feel like Furlong would have killed that scene.
Yeah.
The whiny scene. Again, I'm just thinking, I'm not even thinking of adult Edward Furlong here. I'm thinking of 13-year-old Edward Furlong.
Just stretched out.
Yeah. I don't even know if I want to be or I am. Todd. Whatever. Anyway.
All right, we cut back to the fiancinator as the cops he's with get the call letting them know where Claire Danes and John are. So he puts his hand through the driver like a chest burster and bashes the passenger's head into the window and then steers the car from the back seat, which I find hilarious.
That's my only comment was, man, that chest part was cool.
Yeah.
I watched this in the theater and I think I was like 12 or 13. That part fucked me up when I was like...
Like how?
What do you mean? I just like that was like the most visceral thing I think I had ever seen in a movie.
Okay.
To see somebody's arm go through another person. And the effects are pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it does look good.
Yeah, Arnold does that to Bill Paxton's buddy in Terminator 1, so probably a little callback.
Yeah. So back at the cemetery, Claire Danes is consoled by good old Dr. Silberman from the first two movies, who sort of talks himself into having like a flashback about seeing the Terminators in T2.
Yeah.
And then promptly gets the fuck out of there when he sees Arnold bust out of the mausoleum with the coffin. And
dude has some like serious PTSD. That he totally peed himself a little as he was like running away. He's like, holy fuck. Like not even like that was one of the better comedy like bits or whatever.
Is the best joke in the movie.
Just because it cuts away and you don't actually see him until it cuts back and he's running. He's already running. Like
yeah, exactly. No, the best joke in the movie is the part where he starts to go into his flashback. And it's good acting and very I don't know. I just really like that.
I feel sorry for him in this one, but I haven't seen the first two in maybe like 5 or 10 years. He's pretty much a dick in the first one, right? Like
he's a huge dick.
Okay, in the second one he's still a dick. I know he's a dick in the second one.
Yeah.
He's still a huge dick.
Okay.
Yeah,
he's not like
definitely
outwardly dickish, but like the stuff he does is
in the first one or
dickish. The second one.
Yeah. I know the second one. I just couldn't remember the first one. I'm pretty sure he's like a huge dick in the first one.
Oh yeah.
He's like, oh, this is great. This is going to make my career. Like, these delusions, blah, blah, blah. And then he proceeds to see a fucking 6'2" Austrian dude fucking kill all the police. And then he's like, yeah, whatever. Like, I'll still take care of Sarah at the hospital or whatever. Then he sees the fucking liquid metal guy and that same dude take like 80 bullets. And then like
broke it in this one.
Yeah. I mean,
great.
you think at that point he's like, maybe, I don't know. However, he is one of two characters, not actors, to be in the first three movies. So him and John Connor.
Wait. Oh, characters.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Okay.
The Terminators are different.
Yeah, okay.
Different people.
Okay.
So.
But only the two actors, though, right? I think.
Yes.
So Arnold busts out of the mausoleum, opens fire on the cops, after which Claire Danes follows the therapist and runs off into the graveyard. Arnold tosses the coffin into a hearse
and JC pops out of it. John wants to book it, but Arnold reveals that they need Claire Danes because her dad's military connections will help him form the resistance. Oh, and also they get married and have resistance babies.
So yeah, Arnold mentions that Claire Danes is John's wife, not like it's like the character Claire Danes, not like the actual actress. Like he's not like, but that'd be cool if it was true. He's not like Claire Danes. She's your wife later, and you or Claire Danes' children become important. And John would have responded like, wait. So she's my so-called wife?
God damn it.
I didn't.
You fucking asshole.
I didn't get it till you did the thing, so. That's like the first time in history that actually worked.
I mean, that wasn't good. But
I was like, where is he going with this Claire Danes thing?
Anyway, I'm also surprised that no one has done anything like as far as their kids, because the focus is always on John. Like it's never been explored in. I'm maybe in the comics. I'm assuming probably.
Yeah,
but like it's never been explored into the movies. That this like one little comment right here.
So we see Claire running away through the cemetery when suddenly a car pulls up and her robo fiance walks out. But then he turns back into the Lady TX. I just again want to note when he gets out of the car, he gets out of the back seat. Which means the entire ride from wherever he was, like in the middle of California, to this cemetery in like wherever they are, probably like an hour drive, he was driving through that guy's chest
probably
from
smiling.
the back seat.
Probably smiling.
So, yeah. Just before the TX blasts Claire Danes, Arnold pulls up and shoots her with a bazooka.
Which, dumb move by the TX. Like, just stay as fucking Scott Peterson. And then fucking just shoot her. She's right there. She's right fucking... just fucking shoot her.
Showing off.
What was the point?
You gotta show off.
Or again, stay as the fiance, wait until you've got her in a hug. Turn your hand into a buzzsaw.
Yeah, just break her neck. Fucking crush her skull with your hands.
So Claire Danes gets in the car where Arnold tells her that her her fiance is dead.
To get her in the car, John, I'm curious if they tried the line, you want to live? Yeah. Come on. At first, but then they're like, no, it sounds better. Like, come with me if you want to live. It's just like a little play on that. But anyway.
So the TX catches up on foot and jumps on the hearse, ripping the roof open. John holds her off with a machine gun until Arnold pulls a slick move by driving under a semi, ripping the roof and the TX off the car.
Okay.
And I like that one.
Yeah.
I like that stunt. That was cool. That was a cool, good idea. So the TX gets up, but her plasma cannon is busted, so she switches to a flamethrower instead.
Yeah, and it was right around the scene where I started to wonder if there really is such a thing as a healthy weight loss supplement.
Funny you should say that. How about a quick word about Xenadrine? Xenadrine and Xenadrine Plus are the fastest and proven ways to lose weight.
But Joe, I heard that Xenadrine was discontinued due to one of its side effects being coronary thrombosis.
Moving on. What is the next scene?
So since the hearse is dead,
stupid. That was natural too. That wasn't even planned.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Arnold stops to steal an RV. As they load up the RV with all the weapons, Arnold reveals that the TX will also be going after Claire Danes' dad. JC wants to go find her dad to stop the launch of Skynet and the end of the world, but Arnold won't comply and wants to head south to ensure the survival of the two humans.
I like how John consoles her. I know this won't help, but shit happens, so come on.
Yeah, what the fuck kind of line was that? He was just like, sometimes things happen even when you don't want them to.
It makes sense.
What the fuck?
How does he console her? He's like, bro, I mean, they lose about the same amount of people during the day, so like,
sure.
He's like, both my foster parents are dead. I'll leave out the fact of how I treated him and how I felt about him. But my mom's dead. There's got to be other people.
My dad's dead.
Yeah, my dad's dead.
But he hasn't been born yet.
So JC threatens to shoot himself in the head, and Claire Danes begs Arnold to save her dad. So he agrees to go to the Air Force Base in the Mojave Desert.
Okay. So anyway, John calls the TX the Terminatrix, which...
yeah.
And whatever, but it's pretty much what it's called throughout all the promo stuff that I found so far. And it's so
Is it really?
Yes, they do not call it the TX.
Oh.
Almost everything calls it the Terminatrix.
Oh,
which I'm like,
that fucking
just
sucks.
cringy as shit. Like, just that. And also, he mentioned CRS, which is a company from the game, which I believe the writers also wrote. And I'm pretty going to end up bringing that up on the production episode. But pretty much all the movies that the director and the writers have done before this are fucking like bangers. Like I probably should add the game to your guys' homework too, but that's just I know Chris watched it, but if out of those three, I would say, Joe, I'd probably watch the game's probably the best one out of those three. Have either of you seen U571?
No.
The game is David Fincher, so that's probably the best one out of those. But anyway, so John threatens to kill himself.
Yeah.
This is stupid, and I wrote it at the last second. But John threatens to kill himself, and it made me want to watch the movie The Negotiator. But instead of Kevin Spacey's character, I just want to see the T-800 come in, and he's like, "You have an 82% probability that you are just a really, really like direct police negotiator." Anyway,
I do not believe you will do it.
Just goading him.
Yeah.
It has now moved down to 42%.
Yeah. There's now a 60% chance you are a little bitch. All right. So while on the road, Arnold reveals that he is the one who killed future John and that Claire Danes reprogrammed him and was the one who sent him back in time. And also he reveals to Claire that the two of them are married in the future. Arnold also says he was picked to kill John specifically because of John's attachment to his model number. But how in the fuck would that make it easier to infiltrate the Resistance? The fact that he's aware that the guy who looks exactly like this is in fact a Terminator. Unless the Resistance are the dumbest motherfuckers in existence.
John's just always had like a 13-year-old mentality. So he's like, no, it's my dad.
Yeah, like it just doesn't. I don't know.
Well, it's not like
any sense to me.
It's not like John's the fucking bouncer. Like he's in the back doing like military guy shit, you know?
Got a picture.
No, but like
he's got a photo, like a drawing of Arnold Schwarzenegger. If this guy shows up, let him through. Just let him through. Like he's on the list.
Yeah, but once he like infiltrates, because you know he's an infiltration unit. I mean, they always have dogs around. Dogs bark, but
yeah,
we'll ignore that fact. And then once he gets to John, and he just shoots him, and because John would be like stunned, be like, just like he is in this movie when he sees him.
I guess.
Yeah, I have two comments, and they're really short.
Okay.
The first one was, I'm not usually a huge fan of exposition dumps, but for some reason, I have no problem with this one.
Yeah.
I also like how her curiosity is stronger than her caring if John knows how he died.
That part was hilarious because John asks the Terminator, like, the Terminator tells him, like, you didn't send me back because you're dead in the future. And John goes, I think, starts to ask
he's
him
like, how
he
like,
dies.
maybe I don't want to know.
He's like, maybe I don't want to know. She takes one beat and then she's like, so how did he die?
Like, looks at him and thinks, like, maybe thinks about it for a second, but it's like, no, how did he die? Because she's curious. And then
exactly.
I do like the whole backstory with them sending the actual T-850 that killed John to rescue him. But that's my last comment.
Yeah, but this whole thing doesn't make sense. So, okay, Catherine, we're assuming, well, Catherine's dad turns on Skynet. I assume they know because Arnold tells them. So in that timeline, Arnold knows. And if Arnold knows, it's because Catherine or Claire Danes told him or whatever. So when...
quick question for you. Stuff split because of what they did, right? So Claire Danes' dad isn't supposed to be dead. Because he ends up is he alive in the timeline that Arnold knows? Is he alive?
We don't necessarily know that. All we know is that in the original timeline, John would have met him much earlier.
Okay,
that's kind of all we know about that.
Okay.
In the timeline that Arnold is from, he knows this is when the bombs go off, and he knows it's from Skynet because he mentions it. Like he's the one that brings it up. That Roger, whatever the fuck his name is,
Robert, I think.
Robert, whatever, same name, is the one that did it. So therefore, if they had that information, if Catherine had that information, why didn't she just fucking send him back to be like, hey, I am a Terminator, and he like cuts his arm off like he does in T2 or whatever. She's like, oh shit, word. And he's like, don't let your dad fucking turn on Skynet. She's like, yeah, all right, yeah. And then boom, problem fucking solved. And
she says word. Oh, word.
Oh, word, son.
Of course you would.
And as we were talking about the set past and everything, like this past is not the future that this Terminator comes from, because the TX went back and killed who would be John's lieutenants.
Yeah.
Therefore, if they were dead,
it's got to be a new timeline.
Yeah, it's a new timeline. So, and then the same fucking shit happens. Like, it just kind of is annoying.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah. Like, I was just curious because I wasn't sure if Kate's dad was actually alive. Because the way they mention it, they don't exactly say, but I was like, wait, so was he actually alive to where he was actually like training him in like that original? Because in my
opinion, it feels like if he was alive, why wouldn't he be leading the resistance instead of John?
True.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
He was supposed to have made contacts through the dad, but not necessarily like.
Which I guess. Okay. So wait, the end of it, the end of the movie was him making the contacts then?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. So, he was an integral part because he got down to the fucking
otherwise he wouldn't have been in that bunker. He would have been in Mexico or wherever.
All right. True.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. But, all right. So now we go back to Sergeant Skynet as he is informed that the magic computer virus has now begun taking over military systems.
Okay. All right. Hunter Killer. Yeah. I don't know. I was like, I remember being happy the first time I saw the HK. Like, I know it's an old model of it, but like the HK flying, and then even this time I was like, hell, Hunter Killer, hell yeah. I mean, it's stupid. It's very stupid. I do like how that, like, I know it's later and I didn't write this down, so I'm gonna say it now, but I do like how that they made the primitive versions of the Terminators kind of dumb to where it can't see it. They can't see them once they dunk. Once they get out of the...
I have a whole thing about... Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I don't have a thing. I just have a complaint about that later.
Oh, it kind of made sense to me because I was like, whatever, it's dumb.
I guess.
It's dumb. It can't see out of it's like directly in front of it.
It sucks so much. Like, it's so bad. Anyway, we'll get there. Okay, so now we see a little light flirting in the RV between Claire Danes and John. Then we are back at the military base as we see the TX in a military uniform. Sergeant Skynet gets a call and is ordered to turn on Skynet to fight the virus, despite his objections.
Which, again, I still don't get. It's like, I mean, I get that he's right. He's 100% right. Because once he turns on Skynet, it proceeds to murder everyone. But, like, his boss makes a good point because his boss said, he's like, her dad. It's like, Skynet will be in charge of everything. He's like, and you'll be in charge of Skynet. Like, he makes a good point. I mean, turn it on.
Sure.
It'll get rid of the virus.
Apparently, again, never mind. I don't know how that works either. But anyway, the TX finds some prototype drones and hacks into them.
By the way, I think we looked this up for the bonus episode, but the T stands for Terminator, correct? Like, there's nothing. I don't think there's anything else it could stand for. Which is,
I mean, there's probably hundreds of other words it could stand for, but I don't know if it does.
Just because I'm curious if it stood for it even then.
I don't know if that's confirmed anywhere. I have no memory of talking about it. Yeah.
I think we did because she mentions in the host that, because I was watching the presentation video for the Universal Studios thing where she introduces it. She's like, this is the Terminator, whatever.
Okay.
But I don't know if that's actual, part of the thing.
Like official canon or whatever. Yeah. Okay, so Skynet is officially turned on, and in less than a minute, they lose control of it. It just immediately shuts down everything and then reboots itself and is in control.
I was really hoping when it would reboot it would come on with like Dennis Nedry on there, like ha 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 ha. You didn't say the magic word. Okay, so after it's when they activate Skynet. One of the nerds says that that Skynet's performing at 60 teraflops per second. Is that a lot?
Yeah. I assume so. Yeah, I don't remember exactly how big that is, but I know flops are big.
Yeah, they are. It's flopping. It's got to be big. Like my shit don't flop.
Flop around.
Anyway,
right at this moment, Claire Danes shows up in the room, but is immediately riddled with bullets by Arnold, who also showed up with John and another Claire Danes, revealing that the first Claire Danes was actually the TX, and really putting her dad through some emotional whiplash.
Seriously.
So the TX gets back up and shoots Sergeant Skynet before Arnold knocks her down an elevator shaft with some grenades. And man, Arnold does not give a shit about saving her dad because he waited a long-ass time to start shooting again. Like, the TX had time to get back up, pull a pistol out, and shoot him 3 times before she gets hit by a grenade.
Claire Danes is just having a bad day as far as losing people. Also, the last, 40-ish minutes of this movie is just darn fun.
Yep. It picks up and it's pretty good from here now.
I think I didn't finish reading the review, but I think part of the problem with the reviews is this there's nothing going on for the middle chunk of the movie.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to, but anyway. Terminators be terminating.
So John asks Sergeant Skynet where the system core of Skynet is as the drones start mowing down everybody on the base. So the group heads to Daddy's office to get some access codes from his safe. Arnold uses one drone to kill another, and then they make it to the safe. Before he dies, Sergeant Skynet tells them that they need to get to Crystal Peak, a mountain base, and tells them where to find a plane that they can use to get there, after they get the access codes out of the safe. As they leave, they are confronted by the TX, so the humans run while the Terminators have a good old bathroom brawl. And there are a couple bad jokes in here that I want to point out, which is just, there's one part where she throws him and then she's walking through the bathroom, walks by a row of 3 mirrors and looks at herself for some reason.
You get it though, right? Because she did it because she's a woman, and you got to make sure
woman
her hair
and
looks
they are
okay.
Obsessed with their appearance.
Like some hacky ass joke. I might as well throw a Tim Allen thing in here again. Like my hacky ass joke that Tim Allen would say. I don't have Tim Allen written down, but
yeah, that was my note here. Was just is that really just some shitty woman joke?
Yeah, that's.
Yeah. And then a minute later, she is fighting and she grabs Arnold's junk, and he has a surprised look on his face. And I don't know. That's just kind of dumb.
Yeah.
That's all. The fight ends when they both get locked in a grapple, with the TX flame-throwing Arnold's face off until he hits her with a live wire and shocks the shit out of both of them. However, she recovers immediately and knocks his still twitching head almost completely off his body, and then does her hacking thing, where she sticks her finger needle in his circuits.
There wasn't really any reason to make her liquid metal and have a skeleton, correct?
No, I mean, aside from the fact that she shapeshifts a little bit, but she could have done more of that through the movie.
Other than the that it's something new, there wasn't any
yeah.
It was just a new Terminator, basically, right? Just
essentially.
I don't know.
I think the only innovation in her is that she has built-in weapons, which they don't seem to be that great.
They're fine, but I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't do anything. Yeah. It doesn't work.
Well, she can hack stuff.
Yes, that is.
Yeah, I guess that's true. She can control other machines. That's true.
I know I said this during that episode, but this is Dark Fate does this so much. Just the separation.
It's just a way more interesting thing. Yeah, it's a way more interesting way to do the combined liquid metal and Terminator thing.
Yeah, I'm curious if the director was like, fuck, that is a good idea. Yeah, that is a good idea.
Yeah.
Why didn't we do that? That's exactly how it would have been. Son of a bitch. Yes, they should pull apart. Yes. Anyway.
So, as the humans make their way through the base, they run into the least effective flying drone ever invented.
Yeah.
That shoots rockets at them and misses, which, fine. They duck, they miss them. Then the drone can't see them and flies straight past them down to the other end of the hallway. Takes a full 15 seconds just to turn around. And then flies at them slow enough for Claire Danes to pick up a rifle and unload a full magazine into it until it explodes. By the way, it still has 4 more rockets.
The HK is like a dumb dog.
Yeah, it's so fucking stupid. That would be great if it got to the end of the hall and tried to turn around and it slammed into the wall instead.
Yes. It works for technology purposes. It's the first edition.
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying.
Fucking beta.
Yeah. Those weren't ready for release yet.
Yeah, they're fucking prototypes. Yeah, like
you're lucky they flew.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, just right afterwards, John says to her, "You remind me of my mom," and that would that not make shit weird? It's like, ugh,
yeah,
dude,
yeah, that's very strange.
We have sex later. He's like, exactly.
Yeah. They find the particle accelerator that will lead them to the plane, but they see the TX coming for them on the security cameras, so JC turns the accelerator on before they head into it. The TX pursues them as the machine powers up, and before she can catch them, the magnetic field activates and the TX gets stuck to the accelerator while they make their way to the runway. Next, we see Arnold pop his head back on. Then we see the TX engage its buzzsaw to begin freeing itself because, as everyone knows, buzzsaws are never magnetic.
Yeah, that was my note.
John and Claire Danes get to the plane around the same time that Arnold does, but Arnold tells them to get away because the TX made him insane in the mainframe.
I like this little scene. Go ahead, you can finish the...
They can't take off in time, so Arnold grabs John out of the plane and gets ready to kill him, but John senses much conflict in Arnold and encourages him to fight it. So Arnold throws John away and vents his frustration on a car before shutting himself down.
That poor car, first of all.
Yeah, I was he in Street Fighter 2?
What's going on here? Seriously.
Bonus stage.
Those were the... Oh, man. Okay.
Those were tight.
I could totally make that into a video to post.
Yeah, Claire Danes like jumps on his back and he like full on fucking chucks her straight into like a giant toolbox directly on her head.
Yeah,
how is she not at least paralyzed? Like, I mean, massive concussion, death. I don't know, but like 45 seconds later, she's like, "Yeah, I'm ready to fight."
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, she is unconscious for a full minute or so there. Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
I like the little the T-850 like being corrupted thing. I really like.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
I was just disappointed that it was so short, but I don't know what else could have been done with it.
That's what she said.
Like, I don't know what else could have been done with it though.
I don't know either without spending some time on it, but the writing definitely feels lazy of just like
a quick thing.
He does it, like he fights and then he like does, like there's nothing clever about the way they get around it. He's just like, please don't kill me.
You can't kill me. Fate.
Yeah.
It also stupidly took me this long to realize that they're not traveling with like the warrior character. Like in the first one, it was Reese, the second is Sarah.
Oh, yeah.
And this one is just like a vet tech, a junkie, and a robot, which sounds like a cartoon that would... Like, this sounds like an Adult Swim cartoon.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So they get in the plane. They make their way to the mountain as John assures Claire Danes that they will succeed. We see Arnold reactivate himself. So John and Claire Danes enter the base, and after wasting some bullets... they get the blast door open with the access codes from the safe. As they're opening the door, the TX crashes a helicopter into the base and makes her way towards them. Before she can make it, an even bigger helicopter crashes on top of her, and Arnold steps out with way less of his face.
The CG looks super good for his face.
That shot actually looked really good. Yet another instance where if she had just sprinted, the movie'd be over.
Yeah. And I do like that. It's one helicopter and then just a bigger helicopter.
Just a bigger helicopter.
At first I thought it was kind of dumb, and then I was like, you know what, that's pretty funny.
That's great. The blast door starts to close, but Arnold holds it open enough for them to crawl through. As John is going through, he has a nice moment with his new surrogate Robopops before having his ankle shattered by the top half of the TX.
Okay, this is my last note, which says, "Hey, John, just get on the other side of the fucking wall and then say thank you.
Fucking move.
You fucking chode."
Should do that in Arnold's voice. Get on the other side of the wall. You stupid
you fucking chode. Come on, go. Yeah. That is my last note.
Nice. Arnold grabs the TX as John gets away, then shoves his fuel cell into her oral cavity. And they both explode. John and Claire Danes make their way down to the heart of the base, but instead of finding the system core that they were expecting, they find only a military fallout shelter and realize that both her father and his dadinator knew the truth. That there was no stopping Judgment Day, only surviving it. As the bombs fall, other shelters begin trying to reach out, and John picks up, beginning his journey to being the leader of the resistance, telling us that he will continue with what the Terminator taught him, which is to never stop making disappointing sequels.
First off, I just thought of this right now. Why would you listen to this motherfucker? John Connor, like coming to you from this base. Who are you? I'm like, well, yesterday I was passed out on the floor.
It's a bunch of military people. You would think the first thing they'd ask him is like, what's your rank? And then immediately disqualify him from being
he smells his piss. He's like, that's pretty rank. I don't know. I'd say pretty high.
Sir, can you please turn off your radio? And I know I was disappointed by this ending at the time, but I kind of love this last scene now. Like,
this ending is the reason I have good memories of this movie, because I thought the ending was very interesting.
Yes,
and
for sure.
Did something cool with it.
Yeah.
And I kind of retroactively put that on the rest of the movie, like, oh, maybe the rest of the movie's,
No, the ending's pretty awesome.
The ending is pretty great.
Yeah, that's the only part that's bleak about it. Although the subtitle kind of gives away, it's Rise of the Machine, so like true. It's gonna fucking start.
Yeah.
But they also back themselves into a fucking corner because if they want to make Terminator 4, it's like, how are they gonna do that? Like the 5 minutes between when they get there and before the bombs go off, they send more Terminators back? I don't know.
Well, presumably the idea was to follow the resistance, right? Like to do the Terminator Salvation thing and follow like what actually happens in the future.
God damn it, I gotta write that down now too to find out. Also, how great would it have been to hear like, there's nothing here, and like 13-year-old Edward Furlong's voice again, just when John pushes the computer out, there's nothing here, just when he's throwing his
he lied to me
when he's throwing his tantrum. Thanks, Todd. He just keeps bringing up fucking Todd.
It's not the mainframe, Todd.
I like how I like how this doofus still has fucking John Connor still has the timer going for the C4 even after a couple minutes of realizing they can't do anything about it.
They get in the elevator and he's like, I'll set it for 5 minutes. That should give us enough time. And I thought he meant he was setting it for 5 minutes so that they could set it and start the clock. I didn't realize he meant he was starting the clock right now.
The elevator.
I was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Because they get down there and by the time he's done throwing his tantrum, they have 1 minute and 16 seconds left before the C4 goes off. And I understand that there's a point where Claire Danes goes, John, we could just let it go. Like, I get that. There's the thought of suicide.
Oh, wait, was she talking about like letting the bomb go off? I thought she was, or
oh, yeah,
the C4?
I think she was talking about, let the C4 go off. We'll just, we don't have to live.
Oh, I didn't even, I thought she was talking about like.
Fuck the destiny bullshit. We could just die.
Oh, I thought she was talking about like, just.
No, and then the radio thing kicks in, and that's when he walks. Again, he doesn't even turn it off on the radio thing. He walks over to it and waits till there's like, I think 10 or 15 seconds left on the clock.
No, there was like 4 seconds left on it or something.
4 seconds,
something like that.
And then he turns it off, which is, yeah. So
I know the people that are listening don't know, you 3 listeners, but I'm pretty much a jock. So, well, I don't know what you guys are laughing at. While my 2 co-hosts are like complete like. So, like, I only bring that up so you guys know how cool I am, but also because I'm curious which is a bit more accurate as far as like the system core thing, or like does it because at the end of the movie he's like, it wasn't the system core, it like invaded the whole internet.
Well, he explains Skynet was software. No, you can't go to a place and destroy the
So like is that like more like I'm actually like, I don't know this stuff, like you guys are the nerds, not me. Like I'm too busy lifting weights. I don't got time for this. Like,
I mean, I feel like you could at least blow up some servers or something, right?
Well, I mean, so everyone's like, "Ooh, I hacked in the mainframe," which I always laugh at now. But that was a thing where like your software and your data lived on. Now everything's like, everyone's like, "Oh, the cloud." But that just means it's a bunch of servers everywhere. Like you have like crazy redundancy. So it doesn't really make sense to say like, oh, it's just software, because the software has to be like stored somewhere on a database. Like,
yeah, you have to run it on hardware.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that's a much better way to put it. But, however, I can see why like that line doesn't make sense, but I can see how it would make sense to be like, Like, we can't just fucking blow one thing up and be fine because it's on the internet. Like, it's at different servers. It's stored on hardware all over the world, so we can't just blow one thing up. Like, it's a bunch of fucking microservices or whatever everywhere. Yeah. Like, it's stored on literally everybody's computer, so.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what I was asking. Where I was like, there's no like one like system core or one mainframe thing. Like, if anything, it'd have to be like a bunch of them. I'm assuming maybe, I don't know. Again, Jock. What do I know?
Well, okay. Once they release it, like it goes to the internet, and they say like the military internet, but they have like intranet, which is actually was created before the internet. That's how the internet happened. Anyways, so yeah, it's basically stored on everything.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Also, the implication is that the virus is Skynet. Like, that it has already been, over the last several days, taking over everything. Almost every computer.
It just got into the military at that point.
Exactly. They just needed it to activate Skynet so that it could take over the really important shit, the nuclear missiles and all the defense systems and stuff.
Yeah, which, like, there's a whole military intranet, and, like, that's just bad security in general in order to open up like any sort of intranet or anything to any outside source. However, it does fucking happen occasionally.
So he was then rightfully like the way he was like hesitant, like, I don't think we should do this. I don't think we should do this.
Yeah, that's what I want to ask is, so does that mean that phrase at the beginning of the movie, the civilian internet, that's a valid
yeah, that's just like
phrase?
the general internet. So
okay.
Basically, I think it was DARPA or something. I don't know. It's been a while since I learned this shit. Like, the original how the internet started was like, it was kind of a military thing, and you connected computers together, and then they can share information in like a fucking circle, so you can get information from each of them. And that's it, kind of like the inspiration for that. However, like, so much shit, and I guarantee you, like, fucking nukes and shit, like, are their own separate, like, they're not connected to the outside world because, like, that's fucking hacking is a thing. However, usually when there is a problem, like some sort of like a virus or whatever, it's because somebody like fucked up and put their thumb drive in their home computer and then put it in like the other thing or something. It's like a bad actor, or not social engineering per se, but like some sort of hacking like that. I don't think Skynet would, unless what they should have done, which was soon as fucking the TX got there, she's the one that introduced it to the general internet. And that's why everything's been going out. That would have made a lot of sense. And I don't think they were going to imply that, but it is now headcanon for me to improve this movie a little bit.
Makes it make more sense.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, she's the one that turned on all of the Terminators. So, like,
yeah, she turned on like the drones,
but she didn't actually touch like any of the.
She wasn't touching Skynet. She was literally just.
She was just like, that'll take care of itself, basically, right?
Yeah, they could have had it when she did the call, like on the cell phone at the beginning.
Yeah,
but
that would have been a good idea.
Oh, you mean as far as like getting into the military stuff?
Well, no, getting it into the general internet.
Yeah,
one of the first things that they mention in the movie is that it's already like.
I know, but I'm saying if they you just ruined my headcanon.
Sorry, like that it was already happening.
Yeah. Well, I guess technically maybe somebody was fucking working from home or something, and they fucking put a thumb drive in their work computer and then put it in their home computer and booted up AOL, and then it got everywhere. So, okay. Bad security practice.
Skynet's just sending out free Skynet disks to everybody.
You're saying that the AI can become sentient, though. That's why you apologize to it and are nice to it.
It's not really AI. That's more of a language model than anything.
Saying this stuff is just going to piss it off. Just to let you know, like you're just going to make it mad.
There's going to be Joe revenge porn all over the internet.
Okay.
All right, and that's the movie. So now we're going to move into our next segment, my favorite segment, the only segment that keeps this resistance running. Joe Namath.
Now we're going to do something extremely fun. We're going to play a wonderful game called Who is My Daddy and What Does He Do?
All right. A lot of names in this movie. Whenever there's a lot of CGI, it gets a little cumbersome, especially when time's getting tight, but I try to keep it as short as possible for you people. So we have a stunt person named Dickie Beer. Like
Good name.
B-E-R, which is a good name. There's also another stunt person named Chris Tuck, which implies, so if we have Chris Tuck and we have Chris Tucker, there must be a Chris Tuckist out there. So, just saying.
Or Chris Tucked.
What? No. What? That's not how words work.
All right.
There's a storyboard artist, Benton Jew, just Jew.
Really?
I hope he's Jewish. There's the Downey set dresser, which I don't know if that's the city or Downey means something different, but his name is Peter Griffith. So he was not happy once Family Guy came out.
Yeah, that's. Wait, is it Griffith or Griffin?
It's Griffith in the Family Guy, but it's pretty
Griffith.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, because one of the, I don't know, season 1 jokes where I think when he was like kind of like the Fonz in high school or something, they're like, "What's your name?" And he looks over and he sees like a P, like the E. He's like P, and someone crying, tear. And it was like Griffin flying. Griffin.
Oh, when he's trying to lie.
Stupid.
Yeah.
These Kaiser Sozeing them.
And then and I think about this all the time from The Simpsons, where somebody's questioning Homer. It's like, all right, so this Moe's, what kind of establishment is it? And he goes into his head. He's like, don't tell him it's a bar. Don't tell him it's a bar. It's like, it's a pornography store. I was buying pornography. And his eyes like get big. I think about that one all the time. So, this is all about names. So there's a cable person named Peggy Names. So thank you for adding that. Lamp operator, Richard Butkus Jr. or Dick Butkus Jr. So son of Hall of Fame Chicago Bears linebacker Dick Butkus.
Did you actually look if that was his son?
No.
Okay. Because that's not a very common name. So
It's true. There's a rigging electrician named Victor Mendoza. And finally, we have a West Cam tech named Steve Rogers.
Nice.
Oh yeah, Captain America. I noticed one. I didn't write it down. I should have written it down. I noticed one that was like Richard El Quattro Jr., which like roughly translates to Richard the Fourth the Second.
I didn't see that one.
I just think that's funny. And then I was paying attention to the music because I really needed to know who the fuck made that Funky Man song. So I saw that. And the other thing I noticed is that when the credits are playing, the first song is just the Terminator theme, and then they cut into this other song that's more of like a alt rock song.
Yeah, that song's fucking terrible.
It is terrible, but it's by the Blue Man Group.
What? They don't sing.
Yeah,
It's by the Blue Man Group featuring Gavin Rossdale.
What?
Of Bush.
Wait, is it just a bunch of drums? Because they're just
it's like a song. It's like a fucking alt rock.
They're just all they do is percussion.
Maybe a tiny bit techno-ish, but like
it's bad. It's not a good song.
No, it's not good.
I mean, for the record, Richard M. Butkus Jr. is the son of Dick Butkus.
Oh, okay, good for him, I guess. Dick Butkus seems like is he still alive?
Nah, he died a few years ago.
Okay. He seemed like a funny dude, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, he was a cool dude.
Yeah.
I mean, once he was not on the football field.
Was he one of those guys that's like, I'll kill everyone?
Yeah. Yeah. And,
Okay.
and it was at the time where everyone's like, cool. Like, yeah. Please just hand out concussions like candy.
Yeah, but anything I've seen of him when he's at like post-retirement, he just seems funny.
Yeah.
All right, and that's going to wrap things up for this episode. But be sure to join us next week as we continue our coverage by diving into the production side of Terminator 3 and get all that sweet behind-the-scenes info, including why some of the key figures involved in the first 2 Terminator films did not return for the third one. And we'll also find out which famous actor was originally cast in one of T3's lead roles and discover the reasons why they were replaced after only 1 week of filming. As always, please rate and review us on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts because it really helps us out, and we love hearing your feedback. So thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next week.
See you at the party, Richter!
If you enjoy our show, please consider giving us a positive review on Apple Podcasts or your podcast app of choice. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at @ThePottyRichter to make sure you never miss an episode. See You at the Potty Richter is a production of Tape Deck Media. Follow Tape Deck on Instagram at TapeDeck_media or look us up on Facebook for more hilarious podcasts.
This has been a Tape Deck Media production. Thank you for listening.